First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for coming out to hear me today, and thank you very much for inviting me to talk as part of the Cafe Science session. It's really a great honour to be invited along. So I'm going to be talking today about the links between physical activity and psychological health. But just a couple of points of clarification before we start. I'm conscious the people behind the pillar might not be able to see me there. This is the first time I've ever given a talk without slides, which is quite strange because I'm used to being able to put funny cartoons on them and things, and now I realise I'm going to have to rely on myself to make some jokes, so hopefully that won't go too wrong. And the other qualifier is that this is the first time I've ever given a talk in front of my mum, who's sitting here. Now, she's been told not to heckle, so we'll see, hopefully she'll be able to behave herself. But it makes me a little bit nervous talking in front of my mum. Anyway, so now I've got the qualifiers out of the way. I'm going to be talking about the relationship between physical activity and our psychological health. So I'd like to start, really, by just getting a show of hands around the room. Now, I'm not asking anybody to tell me, but can you raise your hand if you know what the UK government physical activity guidelines for adults are? 2, 3, 2.5?
Maybe.
Oh, there's one over there at 3, 4 at the back. Oh, sorry, you're hiding. Okay, so there's about 5 people out of quite a few more than that who know what the guidelines are. Okay, that's maybe not the best start. Okay, would anybody like to tell me what they think the physical activity guidelines are?
Is it 20 minutes 5 times a week?
No,
Oh.
but that's close.
Oh.
35 times a week.
35 times a week, perfect. So the UK government currently recommends that adults do 150 minutes of physical activity per week. That's recommended to be broken down into 5 days of doing about 30 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity per week. They also say that potentially you could do 75 minutes of vigorous activity or a combination of both. So that's quite a lengthy sort of definition. But hopefully you get with me, yes?
I'm in my 80s.
Yes.
What constitutes physical activity? In the morning for an hour to get my breakfast.
Yes, no, absolutely. That's a very good point. The recommendations are for adults aged 18 to 64, and for adults aged 65 and above, they're slightly different. So they still recommend that you should do 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous physical activity, but the definition of what moderate activity is slightly different for somebody aged 65 and over. So I'll come back to this in a second, but no, that's a very good point. So given that we now know that as adults aged between 18 and 64, you're supposed to do 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity, can I ask you to put your hands up if you think you do this? Good, so I think the majority of people in the room there. So we've got a pretty active bunch, which is brilliant. Okay? Now, one of the problems with this definition is that when you ask people if they meet it, people are often confused about what we mean by moderate level activity. It's quite an abstract sort of term. So I'd like to demonstrate to you what moderate level activity is for an adult. Can I ask for a volunteer, please? Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay. Can I ask you just to stand about here, please? That's right. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music, and I'd just like you to walk in time to the music, either on the spot or have a little tootle around. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Hopefully my video will play. You're allowed to do a bit of dance if you want. Excellent. Oh, I was just going to wait for the chorus. Oh, there we go. You can sing. Sorry. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Okay, I think that's probably enough. Oops. No, thank you very much. Excellent. Okay, now can anyone tell me what's special about that song?
The BPM.
BPM, yes. So it's other than it's the Bee Gees, yeah. And so that song is almost exactly 100 beats per minute. When quite a wide array of research was done to try and find out what constitutes moderate activity in adults. And what they found that was when we looked at walking speed and walking pace, is that for most adults, when we do 100 steps per minute, we're walking at a moderately intense level of activity. So that means when you're walking along, if you can hum the Bee Gees and walk in time to that, you're achieving what we call moderate level physical activity. Okay? So it's not actually as fast as we might think. And moderate activity can be achieved by gardening or being a whole range of different activities. Okay, so now that you all have the Bee Gees in your head, I'll ask again, who thinks that they achieved the guidelines of 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity? Even more people, fantastic, excellent. Okay, I'm glad to see we've all got a fairly active bunch here.